Hello, Facebook friends and fellow vloggers. I am posting a video this evening about something that I'm extremely passionate about in the SCA. Every player plays a little differently, and everybody has different experiences that shape how they play and who they play with and what their goals and focuses are. Um, at 50 year this year, I got to journey to Indiana to the 50-year celebration. And I got, while I was there, this wonderful book. It's the Gate book. Nothing important, nothing shiny, except it does have some extraordinarily valuable information in it. And for anybody that's a new player, I would highly encourage you to hunt somebody down that has one of these, or find an online resource for some of the history written about the SCA. It's valuable. So something that struck me during the founders ceremony at the very beginning, and then also something that is quoted, I'm going to quote in the book. It's on page 95 in the end of the first column. And what is written is, "We grew up in the 50s, that triumph of plastic suburban culture, and we hated it. And suddenly we realized that it did not have to be that way. If we did not like the world we had been born into, we had the power to change it and create our own." I've always looked at the SCA as an educational opportunity, a way to change the materialistic, plastic, hoarding things culture that we live in. The second part that I really believe in fully is honor, honesty, courtesy, and the society encouraging its members, again, a principle that our modern society has forgotten. And thirdly, the SCA is a support structure to learn more, to support growth in individuals, expanding our world past the borders of our own town, our state, our country. History, culture, and ethics are all encouraged and taught in the SCA as a culture itself, within a Western world culture and society that, not all the time, but many times, has forgotten these attributes and these things that make us good people all the way across. Right now, there's a lot of stuff going on that I'm extraordinarily passionate about, and one of the reasons that I'm really passionate about it is because I've always been passionate about. When we play in the SCA, we're recreating history one event at a time, learning new skills, new methods, how our ancestors did things. Learning we don't need microwaves and plastic cups and plastic plates and immediate needs. It takes time to learn to build an appropriate, historically accurate set of armor. It takes time to build a set of garb from scratch, whether you use a sewing machine or you're doing it with a needle and thread. It takes time to gather that fabric. Most of us that play in the SCA don't have a lot of extra money. So we have to save, and we have to plan, and we have to be careful how we spend our funds. It takes time to learn the skills necessary to build your armor, to make your garment, to make anything that goes with your kit as authentic as possible. Our society is not based on an instant gratification. It's not. And something that has been encouraged within the SCA is that hands-on, that take the time you need to make something that's valuable, that is well done, that you've put time and effort in. We go to events to immerse ourselves in history, to suspend our disbelief and have fun living in history, experiencing it, the persona we've created, the personas other people have created, that dichotomy and diversity. If you are in the SCA, you can't help but to be a little bit more open-minded than maybe the average Joe, because you're playing with a Muslim character and a Japanese character and a Viking character and an African character and who knows all in between. we go to these events, we help ourselves suspend our disbelief. We help each other by using covers for modern chairs, covering our modern tables. We use metal plates and wooden plates and metal forks and real knives instead of plastic, 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 everything that you throw away. It helps us suspend the reality of our modern world and think of a simpler life for just a little while. No computers, no cell phones, none of that stuff that's in our life. You learn that the things you need to keep your persona accurate are not necessarily a great many things, but it's the quality and the simplicity of your items, your clothing, the time and effort that you have taken into making your persona accurate. Something that drives me crazy in the SCA is that I have noticed in the last 15 years of playing that I see more and more events with paper plates, plastic forks, throwaway things. There's less effort to help people suspend their disbelief. There is a push in some corners of events that I've seen that you have to have more things versus the quality of what you have being as authentic as you possibly can. Heralding our modern era into our historical recreation and the simplicity of life of our ancestors. I think there's a big piece in the SCA that we're missing to drive new people in. Welcome them with that simplicity. Welcome them with the genuine historical fun in being simple. You don't have to have the shiny new armor to fight to start off with. Start off simple. Plastic stuff. Throw a tunic over the top. It takes time to build these things. It takes time to build up so that I've been to events where I've looked at the person that's been playing for 15 years and they have everything immaculate. They have all these expensive pavilions, expensive all of this stuff. Did they buy it? Did they make it? I don't know, but it's intimidating. It's extraordinarily intimidating, even for someone who's played for 20-something years. I've built my kit, and I'm still working on my kit. I'm never going to be happy with it because there's always something that I can make simpler. There's always something that I can be more authentic with. And it takes research and study. When it comes to honor and integrity with people in the SCA, you have a peerage system that's developed around the idea that everyone is expected to act and behave with honor and integrity. It doesn't matter whether you're a laurel or a pelican or a knight or a master of defense. When someone falls, and it might even be you, there's a support structure to help them come back and correct and become a better person. We are a mishmash of modern hippies, gamers, craftspeople, social outcasts, socially awkward, kind, generous, creative individuals. I have seen some of the most shy individuals stumble and fall and fail in our modern world, and then come to shine and grow and mature and just blossom in the SCA. Those things you don't find out there in the big world. You don't find that. You fall on your face, you fail at something, you're over. You have to move to the next town or the next state to get away from it, if you're lucky. And oftentimes, that failure incites ridicule, racism, bigotry, and a whole host of other horrible, horrible things. Something in the SCA, as a woman, I can fight, I can craft, I can volunteer. It doesn't matter that I'm a woman and I happen to wear skirts. If I want to wear pants, I'll wear pants. Not a big deal. In the modern world, it's supposed to be that way, but it isn't always that way. And that's a reality that I hope that my generation and my children's generation will continue to strive to overcome those issues. I would like to say that we solved it already, but it hasn't been solved. And I know that. But I can have hope that this recreation society will stay strong in that. The equality of the sexes, even with the historical application of we weren't equal necessarily in history, but we have the ability to be equal now. And that's what matters. Honor, integrity, and equality for all. In this organization, this recreation of history, we can grab hold of that good modern ideal of equality, and we can apply it to a historical application and still live simply and still honor our ancestors and honor our heritage and honor where we have come from. In teaching and learning, I see it in everything, in every event, throughout social media, networking, needs and wants and willingness to share skills, knowledge, love of history, and how to make things. It's everywhere. The SCA as a whole is a generous, giving, educational society. There's an argument whether or not we're all that educational, but we are. Those of us that are extraordinarily passionate times 10, no matter where we go, no matter what we do in our everyday life, we share that passion of history. I'm an ex-school teacher. I can't help it. I love history and I love sharing these things. But as much of a proud organization that we are to love and share these things, the things that I wonder if we're missing as an organization, as an individual in an organization, and as descendants of our ancestors, I think we're missing the possibility of gaining new membership through activism in environmental activism, living simply, having the skills to survive a natural disaster, the ability to feed your family should economic stagnation or economic disaster hit. These things are real possibilities. Global warming is happening. 50 years from now, our game is going to have to look very differently because most of us are going to probably want a desert persona at that point, especially in the United States and in parts of the other world. I mean, it's the reality that we are going to have influx of refugees from parts of the world that can't feed themselves anymore. These are realities of our modern day. How do we adapt our game, our society of historical reenactment and teaching and learning? How do we adapt that to now? Our world is changing. Burying our head in the sand isn't going to help. I have found for me that the basic beliefs and statutes of the SCA, the purpose and the missive is to put out in this video a missive to the veterans of the SCA, the newbies of the game, the people who've only been playing a few years. Think about our game. Think about what aspects make us a strong society and make us survive. And discuss and bring these things to the forefront, things that we've forgotten. What makes it fun? What makes it fun is the suspension of disbelief. You walk into an event and you're not in 2016. You're transplanted to 1300 Germany, or you are in Mongolia, or you are in North Africa, or you are in southern Spain during the height of the Muslim Empire. Where are you in history? Can you separate yourself and look at that culture and separate yourself in time and immerse yourself in that fun? That's why we play. We dress up in funny clothes and we research our persona, and we want to go to an event, suspend our belief, and share our persona, our history. Well, I am such and such from when, and I am such and such from when. My persona would have done this. I can't do that, so this is what I do instead. But you know your history, and you're into the game, and you're passionate about it. I think that the SCA has the potential to survive any kind of upheaval that comes about in the real world with the three key pieces: honor and integrity, sticking back to the whole purpose of what the SCA is, and the love of history and learning and survival. If you think about a lot of the basic skills you learn in your hobby, you're making soap. You are cooking from recipes that have the weirdest ingredients, but you have to learn a little bit about in cooking. You have to learn what parts of the animal, how to butcher something properly, how to add fat if it's too lean. You have to, when you're making garb, you have to know where your fabric comes from. You have to know where the fibers come from. A lot of people focus a lot on wool. There's also linen. There's also different types of grasses. There's cotton. There's so much out there. When you're looking at armor, and should our economy fail and you need to defend yourself, how will you do that? Well, a lot of people say, well, I got my shotgun in my garage. Well, great. When you run out of bullets, come find me, right? You need to be able to do archery. You need to be able to kill your food. You need to be able to recognize food that grows wild so that you can feed yourself. We have these skills. We have them as a community in the SCA. We need to share more of that, which we do. We have lots of collegiums. We have books that are published and papers that are published, and we have this wonderful thing called Facebook where you can ask your friends these questions. That's great. But how do we recruit new and young people into our organization that are going to be just as passionate as we are? Our membership's getting older, and in some places of the SCA, the membership's getting significantly older. And baronies and shires in different parts of the world are going to basically cease to exist without new influx. Go to your colleges, go to your communities, and reach out to these young people. There are a phenomenal amount of young people that are passionate. I'm going to bring up Standing Rock, water. We have to have water to live. Anybody who's watched my Facebook page knows that I am extraordinarily passionate about it. It's not a new thing. Ironically enough, I've been teased about this my whole life. I'm a hippie disguised as not one. I should have been born a long time ago. But I am extraordinarily passionate about our Earth. I am extraordinarily passionate about the survival of our species. And we have to have clean water. And we have to have that. And that is a modern issue. That's a real modern issue that I don't understand why more people that are in our organization aren't just as passionate about it as I am. Because that is a fundamental, that's looking at our ancestors and looking at how they destroyed something. Why can't we do better? If you study history and you study politics and you study how things are made, all these things are wrapped and interconnected. There's nothing that's separate from another. And we as a society of historical reenactors need to look at these issues and need to be involved in today to make our events more real and separate and special for everyone involved. I am a fervent, passionate player, and I always have been. Doesn't matter how sick I was. I've always loved the game. Anybody who spent more than 15 minutes with me walking random in my life, they're going to ask me, oh, what's your hobby? Oh, what's that? Because I'm always working on something. I belong to the SCA. You should join. There's something for everyone, because there really is. How do we tap into the next generation? All we have to do is reach out our hand and share. And we have so many skills to share. I know that there are some players that have been around and they're always the ones volunteering. They're always the ones organizing. You're right. You probably are. Let's look at why you or a group of you or some of you watching feel like you're the burden everybody's shoulder, your shoulders are carrying everybody else's burden. Why is that? Is it a method? Is it a way? Is it how things are being done? We can still keep the history and the suspension of disbelief alive and events fun and alive without only one group of people doing it all. Because we are an organization of honor, of integrity, of honesty, and helping each other. We really are. It's very rare that I see that not happen. when I see it not happen, it makes me sad. But it's not a norm. So thank you very much for listening to my rant about the SCA and what it means to me. I hope that you share this, and I hope that you have positive things to say as well, and ideas and things that we can do as a society today to build and share and grow our passion and our love for history and for making things and for helping other people, because we're very strong in that, and we need to not profit's not the word I'm looking for, but expound upon that, explore that, and bring a new generation into a game that can see the passion and love of history and making things and fighting and historical accuracy and the suspension of disbelief, that living in a moment in history that you have made, and recognizing that our ancestors had something and we can still learn from them. And maybe, just maybe, we should pause, take a deep breath, and say thank you, and use some of that wisdom that they have shared with us. Thank you, and have fun playing.